Well, this is an exciting opportunity because we are here at the ranch at nighttime. Clint, it's pretty cool.
It is. We have this new lighting equipment. We've never used it before, so we have no clue what we're doing. But we're going to give it a shot. We're going to go out and see what we can see.
Yeah, and what are some animals that you might see here at the ranch at nighttime?
Well, at nighttime we see a lot of bobcats. We've seen a mountain lion or two, lots of snakes, tarantulas, scorpions, a lot of those animals that tend to stay away from the sunlight during the summer. And
that's really why we see them at nighttime, because it's so hot in the desert during the daytime. Right. This is the only opportunity really for them to be able to come out and hunt and do their thing.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a very exciting time, nighttime. You see a lot of things on your headlights at night, too.
Yeah, and those animals that come out at night, we call them nocturnal. They're asleep during the daytime and awake at night. And we also will see some crepuscular animals. Those are animals active at dusk and dawn. So in the early morning and as that sun's going down and even into the evening time. Now, your ranch butts right up to a wash, which is basically an animal highway.
It is. We call it the animal superhighway. It's a way that the wildlife gets around Tucson at night and even during the day while also avoiding traffic.
Well, I'm pretty excited. Let's go and see what we find.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, this is our first discovery of the night. It's a little jumping spider, and it was hanging off the camera lens, which is kind of cool. Not a very colorful jumping spider, because a lot of times these spiders have a really, really colorful pattern. This one's kind of just brown and black, but still cool nonetheless. They love to just hop from place to place rather than crawling. And let me see if I can get him to move a little bit.
I think he just came right down from the tree.
Oh, did he come down from the tree? He was hanging from the camera lens.
Okay, so we wanted to pop in and let you guys know that the amount of critters we found in the night safari was literally bonkers after the jumping spider. So we wanted to do a little intro on each one, and the first one is the Western Banded Gecko.
It's Arizona's only native gecko. Jed, the geckos that people see gathered around artificial light sources at night are actually an invasive species called the Mediterranean gecko.
Yeah, most people don't see the Western Banded Gecko because they're nocturnal, they don't like to climb walls, and they're not attracted to artificial light sources.
Yeah, they're built for hunting in total darkness, and unlike the Mediterranean gecko that waits for its food to come to them, they actively hunt.
So if you want to see a Western Banded Gecko, you gotta go out at nighttime, and we were lucky to find this guy.
The camera.
Got it. It's on.
Okay, got a little Western Banded Gecko here. These guys are amazing. They are so cool. Tucson's only native gecko.
As you can see, the Western Banded Gecko has black bands, a cream body with a touch of pink and green. Unlike this picture of the Mediterranean gecko, which is usually speckled without banding. Another difference that you'll see between the two gecko species is where their eyes are located. A great adaptation for animals that are active hunters is having their eyes facing forward. This is what you will see on the Western Banded Gecko, as opposed to the Mediterranean gecko, whose eyes are more on the side, who's going to be waiting for the food to come to them.
Another lucky find.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put him down and let him go so that he can catch more bugs.
All right, there you go, little buddy.
Woo. You can see how fast they are.
Super fast.
Yeah.
Now I also know these guys are out more at nighttime because an animal like a roadrunner would probably be looking and eating them.
Yes, yes. Roadrunners, it's shocking how much they eat.
Next up, we have an amazing critter that we found in a water pan that's really meant for domesticated animals.
Yeah, it's just one more example of how human activity can actually help nature, especially during dry times in the desert.
Let's check it out. Could be a lizard, could be a snake.
Could be, but it is below the surface. So my thought is a frog or a toad.
Oh, I see it. Yep. So let's get the camera up here. So we definitely have a toad.
That is a Colorado river toad.
So we've got
also
a Colorado
known as a
river
Sonoran
toad.
Desert Toad.
There we go.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so we have a Colorado river toad. Now this actually looks like a youngster. They get much bigger than this.
I've seen them. I've seen them that big.
And you can
closer.
hear it.
You hear that?
You can hear it vocalizing, and this is the largest native toad to the United States, the Colorado river toad.
Yes.
And we see them during the monsoon season quite a bit, so this one's definitely trying to find water since we don't have a lot of rain here right now.
Right, but we will in July and August.
Absolutely, so we'll see these guys all over the place. Now the other thing that these guys are known for is their toxin. They are poisonous.
They are.
And you can actually see they have a gland that's on the side. Oops, sorry, buddy.
That's all right.
We're just jumping right back in the water here. So they have a gland that's on the side that they excrete a little bit of a toxin. And if you were to get that toxin, ingest it, or rub your eyes. It can make you really sick.
It can, and a lot of dogs get sick by eating these. It's a very common thing here in the Sonoran Desert for dogs, especially with backyard swimming pools. These Sonoran Desert Toads are attracted to the swimming pools. Dogs go out in the yard at night, and they eat a toad, and the dogs can get very sick.
True amphibian here. They're very slippery, and they've got these great big back legs. Frogs are obviously known, and toads are known for their hopping ability because of the power in those back legs. And what a great species here.
Oh, he's beautiful.
So now, if you do handle a Colorado river toad, you need to make sure to wash your hands. If you rub your eyes, if you put your hands in the mouth afterwards, you can get sick. Just like you said, dogs can get very ill from eating these animals.
They can. Yeah, people generally, it's not life-threatening, but it can make you sick, and you just want to be very cautious.
All right, and as an amphibian, we do want to be careful because they absorb a lot from their skin. Amphibians will breathe through their skin, and so we have to be very careful, making sure that we didn't have anything on our hands first that potentially could injure this toad. And night adventures in the desert aren't just about big critters. We also found many of the smaller variety that are just as interesting, like the wolf spider. The wolf spider gets its name because it's part of a group of spider called Lycosidae. Lycos is a Greek word meaning wolf. Wolf spiders don't use a web to catch their prey. They'll actively hunt down and chase their prey just like a lone wolf. If you've ever been out in the monsoon season and heard that really loud, annoying buzzing sound, that's coming from the amazing cicada. It can emit a shrill mating call that at 120 decibels approaches the pain threshold of the human ear. The world-famous black widow has a reputation for being aggressive and dangerous to humans. But in reality, it's neither of those things, with 0 human fatalities in the US for nearly half a century. The black widow is most recognizable by the female, who has a brilliant red hourglass shape on the underside of her abdomen. And no night adventure is complete without seeing a nest of ants, one of nature's most important cleanup crews, hard at work keeping the ground free of dead vegetation and insects. And now we get to one of the coolest animals of the night, a Western Diamondback rattlesnake, who, Clint, we found just slithering right across the path as we were headed back to the cars.
We did. Normally when I come across a rattlesnake, there's no reason to pick it up. All I have to do is tap my foot nearby, and I get it to move where I want it to move.
Yeah, and remember, nobody should ever go pick up a rattlesnake unless you have the proper training. It's rare you even need to touch the snake to get it to move out of a dangerous area.
Yeah, well, this one slithered behind a wood plank, and it wasn't going to go anywhere unless we left. So if we were going to film it, I had to pick it up.
And really gives you guys a great opportunity to see how to properly handle a rattlesnake. So many YouTube creators out there handle these animals that are either dangerous to themselves or harmful to the animal. So Clint, why don't you walk us through how to properly handle a Western Diamondback rattlesnake?
Let's go to the footage.
So Clint, I think it's important for us to let people know, how do you identify that this is a Western Diamondback rattlesnake?
There are 2 dominant traits that give away a Western Diamondback rattlesnake almost immediately. The first is the famous diamond pattern that runs down its back. The second is the cool black and white stripe pattern at the base of its tail, just above the rattle.
Clint, originally our plan was not to have to pick up the snake, but once we got a little bit closer, he ducked behind a wood pile that was going to make it very challenging for us to be able to film and talk about him. And so we made the decision to pick him up. Why don't you go through how to safely do that so that people can really see and understand how awesome these animals are?
I do not pick up the snake with the tool. I only use the tool long enough to replace the tool with my hand. And I never pick up a snake until I can support the full weight of its body with both hands.
Yeah, so many YouTubers I see out there grab a rattlesnake by the back of the head without supporting the body. They're putting so much pressure on the back of the head that the fangs are splaying out, and it looks like the snake is in a lot of stress.
There is no reason to put pressure on the back of a snake's head. They are known as the marshmallow of the snake world and are very weak-bodied. My rule is, if the tongue can't flick, you're squeezing too tight.
Rattlesnakes have a weak body because unlike constrictors that use their body to suffocate their prey, rattlesnakes are an ambush predator that's going to use a quick strike to envenomate their prey with a hemotoxic venom. A hemotoxic venom affects the circulatory system of its prey. A diamondback rattlesnake doesn't have a high potency to its venom, but when it injects a large volume. So if you are bitten, it's considered a medically relevant situation. If you are bit by a Western Diamondback rattlesnake, you need to stay calm and seek immediate emergency help. Remember that a hemotoxin affects the circulatory system, so the calmer you stay, the less that venom is going to circulate through your bloodstream. So Clint, we've been able to learn so much about this amazing Western Diamondback rattlesnake, but I think it's time to let him go on his way to control the rodent population here in the ecosystem. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about how to safely put him back down on the ground?
Releasing a snake, especially a diamondback, is a very simple process. I put it down so that the ground supports the entire weight of its body, and then I release it and step back in one fluid motion. It's really that simple.
As we say goodbye to our Western Diamondback rattlesnake, we want to thank you for joining us on this night safari where we saw so many misunderstood and amazing animals. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next episode on Critterhead TV, where fear becomes wonder and wonder becomes passion.